Big box retail sponsor. How do you feel about it? Well, they're looking. If he wasn't fluttered, he'd some of that money with this. It's an extension card. So I didn't need you to do this. There's a great thing. Yes. What's that? Yeah. Really? We got it done. All right. It's the season. Start doing that. That's the last time. Good. It's wrong. Good. Oh, yeah. Where'd you go? You're good. Check through that. You thought I got everybody else? Yeah, a little bit back. Yeah. I can't keep up with the flutter. Is it getting older? Probably. A lot of places make that complaint. That's a common thing I hear. It's the important. That's what we said. It's not That's part of this community. That's the side we really want to be. And we want to be quiet, sleepy town. Everything's about. We want to be a place that has some life. A place that has recreation, variables for all of the above. None of the above. So it's really up to the community to figure that out and go after the funding that's out there. So it's not easy. You don't know, but stay with it for a long time and get where you want to go. Sounds good. Cold, maybe snow. Can you hear me? There we go. All right. We'll be with you shortly.
All right.
Russell.
Appreciate you guys taking the time. I'm glad you're able to hear me. Can you see my screen and everything okay?
We'll get started here with the meeting, and when you come up on the agenda, I'll let you know.
Okay, I'll put myself on mute.
Great. 7 o'clock, we start the meeting with the salute to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
roll call, please.
Trustee D-Dash.
Here.
Trustee Pringle.
Here.
Trustee Reno.
Here.
Trustee Paul. Present. Treasurer Chapa.
Here.
Clerk Davis here. Supervisor Lindsey.
Here. Next is the approval of the August 18th, 2025 correction meeting minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dudash, is there support? Support by Falk. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is the approval of the September 15th, 2025 meeting minutes. Motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Pringle, is there support?
Support.
Support by Falk. Is there any discussion regarding the minutes? See none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public comments. Anyone wishing to address the board on any agenda item or any other non-agenda item? This is your time to do so, and that we ask that you state your name and address. The meeting's being recorded for future use. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Rebecca Schultz. I live at 3335 West Charmwood Drive. And this is about 10 months too late, but I want to address the garbage cans.
Okay.
Who made the decision to have, was it Waste Management that told you you had to have these large cans, or did you decide that on your own, or?
When we renewed the contract, it was stipulated in it that we would be going to these cans.
Okay, and you felt you had to stay with Waste Management? You couldn't have gone to a different company, or?
Well, this isn't supposed to be a question and answer session.
Oh, okay,
Anyways.
okay, I don't know, I've never been to a meeting
I'll give you the
before.
benefit of the doubt this one. But we felt that they were doing a good service, and
Okay,
we stuck with them.
well, I'd like to tell you that myself and all of my neighbors absolutely hate those large cans. We cannot fit them in our garages. They're supposed to be around the side of the garages or behind the garages or wherever. They're everywhere. If you drive around our circle, that's all you see is the big green buckets. We did not get home until the end of April and first part of May, and our daughter had told us that someone had put these big buckets behind our garage, and we found out later it was our 90-year-old neighbors across the street, because when Waste Management dropped them, they dropped them right at the end of our driveway. So she felt she didn't want to just leave them sit there all winter long. So she and her husband, 90 and 91, brought those big cans around the back of our house. Then when our daughter came over to check the house, she saw the big cans and brought them in the garage. Then she had to come back over when we were coming home and get the cans out of our garage so that we could get in the garage. So there is not anything that can be done about that, is there? These, not, no.
Do you have the smaller can option?
Yeah, do you?
There is, you got to call Waste Management, I believe. If you would like, call the office tomorrow and ask for Ed, and he will help you with that.
Okay, call this office
Call
or
this office
Waste
and
Management?
ask for Ed, and he'll guide you what you need to do.
Oh, okay. Wasn't there something else?
Yeah, we want to turn in one of the cans.
Can we turn one in? Are we charged for, somebody told us we're charged for those cans? Well, our neighbor told us that she had to get an extra one because they have,
If you get an extra one, you're charged $8 a month.
oh, just eight. Wow, okay. She told me 300 a year and I went,
No, it's less than
wow.
100 a year.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
You know, and unfortunately, that's the way the trash industry is moving to.
right.
I even was coming home from somewhere up near Lakeport, coming down North Street, and there was a Marcotte guy with a can dumper picking up trash on the
Yeah.
side. But,
Well, it probably saves them. They probably have less help because they only have the driver on there now.
right, well, they were also having trouble getting help. And then you figure you got a guy that's on the back of that truck for after 10 years of just throwing the garbage, then they were dealing with injury issues and
Right.
whatnot. But
Okay.
thank you for your comments. Anyone else?
I'll go. Good evening. As many of you know, I speak before the board not with opposition, but out of genuine care for our township and its future. My intent has always been to bring forward matters, whether they are positive, concerning, or simply in need of clarification, so that together we can ensure accountability, transparency, and progress for all residents. I want to see this township continue to grow into a place where people are proud to live, work, play, and build lasting memories. A community that others look to as a model of collaboration and integrity. That said, I would like to recap a few ongoing concerns that continue to reflect negatively on our township and respectfully ask for clarity and accountability regarding them. From these questions I have, if you can answer them now or in your board correspondence section of the agenda, I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm going to go down the line. To Mr. Dudas, you voted against recording and public posting of the meetings. Many residents, myself included, would appreciate understanding why you oppose such a fundamental act of transparency. Additionally, while your participation in subcon events is noted, taxpayers have not yet to see tangible outcomes or grant opportunities resulting from your attendance, despite many openly available on Subcog's own website and in their newsletters. As an ordinary taxpayer, I was able to secure a grant for the museum. Therefore, it's fair to ask what efforts or returns have come from the multiple Subcog engagements, which are funded by our residents. The millage amounts that you have paid for this, paid for taping of the meetings. To Mr. Pringle, thank you for supporting the recording of meetings and standing on the side of transparency. That action builds public trust and demonstrates leadership through openness. Ms. Davis, at a previous meeting, your frustration toward Michelle was very visible. I encourage a renewed focus on professionalism and kindness in all public interactions. How we conduct ourselves matters greatly, especially in leadership roles. And civility strengthens both trust and credibility. Being kind at all times makes a difference. It does matter how we do things. Mr. Lewandowski.
Oh, boy.
Thank you for supporting meeting recordings and for addressing the recreation form update. I noticed you had it changed, so thank you so much. Your supervisor's update at the last meeting was an excellent step toward improved communication. I continue to encourage making those updates along with reports from ancillary boards to a regular monthly agenda item. Open communication fosters engagement and accountability and showed that you at the last meeting are wanting to communicate more, so thank you. Mr. Shanka, first of all, I want to say I've been watching the data that you gave, which was false on how much viewing the meeting have been having. So far, we've had a total of 1,741 views at the 12 township videos, which is an average of 145.08 views per video. Your remarks toward me during communication were both hurtful and disappointing. As an elected or appointed representative, your role carries a duty of respect toward all citizens, even those with differing opinions, and I'd appreciate it if you pay attention. You can put your pen down for a moment.
Exactly.
Dismissing or labeling a resident for expressing concerns. Mr. Shanka, could you please pay attention?
I'm taking notes.
It's going to be videotaped. For experiencing concern undermines the integrity of this board. I also note your opposition to meeting recordings. Perhaps you can share with residents why transparency in this forum is resisted by yourself. Also, why can you not give a brief overview of the treasurer's status at each meeting if the financials are denied being posted? Can you please answer that during board correspondence? It's also appreciative if you do show a little bit of interest in people during public comment. Mr. Reno, I appreciate your service and your thoughtful input on the township matters. However, I'm generally unclear on your opposition to meeting recordings. Transparency allows residents unable to attend, such as the young lady back here, remain informed and engaged. It strengthens, not weakness, public confidence. Your valued input needs to be shown, so I'm confused by your reluctance to engage with the citizens. You're a very, very dedicated man to this township board. Ms. Falk, thank you for supporting the recordings of the meetings and standing on the side of transparency as Mr. Pringle and Mr. Lewandowski have. As a reminder, this township has adopted the MTA Code Ethical Conduct, which outlines the standards of professionalism and accountability expected of all officials, appointees, and volunteers. I'd like to read a few key excerpts as I ask each of you to reflect on how they apply to your actions and interactions with others in this township and your employees. Number one, the township shall practice transparency in its affairs unless there is a legal necessity for confidentiality. 2, civility and respect will be demonstrated in all governance processes in the delivery of township programs and services. 3, chairs of boards and commissions, department heads, managers, and the supervisor have the responsibility to intervene when actions appear to violate the Code of Ethical Conduct. 4, interactions with others shall demonstrate fairness, respect, impartiality, and equitable treatment. 5, township officials, appointees, boards and commissions, employees, and volunteers shall conduct themselves as a role model for residents, business owners, and stakeholders engaged in public debate. Township officials, appointees, employees, and volunteers will take responsibility for their own actions and decisions. Discussions shall focus on the merits of positions and shall not include attacks on the motives, character, or personality of others. Each of these principles is not merely a guideline, it's a commitment of the people you serve. Upholding them consistently will build trust, unity, and pride in our township government. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
The one that she's pointing out, that's the reason why I can't come to a lot of meetings. The air quality change, my voice is hard for me. That's why we need to be open about video publicly online so that people like me that can't show up or can't stay can see it online. I didn't appreciate anybody up there that voted against transparency. If somebody like me that can't go online and watch what you're doing.
Anyone else? All right, seeing none, we'll go on to new agenda items. Presentation of TextMyGov notification programs. Russell, sir?
Yes, I will. Appreciate you guys taking some time with me today. I want to make sure that I make the best use of the time. Just so everybody is aware, we have met with Bob and Benita and quite a few of the staff members up to this point and gone through some demonstrations with them. But to make sure that I kind of hit on what is most important, maybe I can ask you, Bob, what was Is there anything you want me to focus on, or what did you feel was the most important with the system that we've got under?
I think we just stick to what we did go over. That's pretty much covers it. Kind of in an abbreviated way, I think.
Yeah, I've got something set up here. Let me share with you my screen. Are you guys able to see my screen change now?
Yep.
All right, perfect. Basically, kind of a high-level overview of what TextMyGov is. It's get to this screen. We think it's one of the most efficient ways to be able to communicate with your citizens. As I kind of expressed here a little bit, data communication is something that's really important. You're able to do that via text. So there's not an app that you need to sign into. There's no email or sign up that's required. And our two-way system allows that the residents are able to ask questions and get answers through text. They can get that done 24 hours a day, 7 days a week through automated responses. And you're able to customize notifications, so you're able to send out alerts directly to your residents. You can specify those into groups, and you can also put those into geographical areas so that everybody isn't getting every text that doesn't pertain to them. One of the things that we touched on that we felt was important was the database import. One of our key features is we are able to procure a database, so that we're able to typically get about 40 to 60% of your residents signed up from day one. And then we can add in whatever residents that you guys have in a database and go off of households. And that way you can get that good chunk from day one as you go live with us and get that information directly out to them. Many of the townships and many of the places we work with, I've been working with most recently Flint Township is one that just came on. They're going to use it in a little bit of a different way, but based on our conversation and the ones that we've had with the staff there, what we found is going to be the most help is mass notifying of citizens and staff of issues. This is something you're able to use in our office. You're able to use it with every department. We have unlimited users and licenses so that you can have the different departments that are able to utilize this system. It automatically answers the questions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and then you get the database import, getting the home signed up. We'll also utilize our website widget to be able to bring in more people. You can have a QR code as well in your offices. So those who aren't in the database import, they're able to be added into the system through other means of marketing and organically growing your database. There is a map tool which will notify citizens, as you can see in my little picture down here. It notifies them by their home location. That way you can utilize that for different means, from if there's water outages, road closures, or something where you need to specifically say, I know sometimes there's tax districts or election districts, you'll be able to utilize it that way. And then a few more examples that I've got down here. You can utilize this for the notification side for events, garbage schedules, road closures, recreation activities that are upcoming, public safety, staff, weather alerts as well, are a little part of, are all able to be included with that as well. Again, just to reiterate some of the things that differentiate TextMyGov to some other systems is that there isn't any download that's required. We'll be able to get you that engagement from the very start. So from day one, you're going to be able to get a good chunk of your citizens who you're able to directly communicate with. You are assigned a dedicated account manager who is going to work with you one-on-one to develop a system to fit for the best needs for the township. And you're going to have unlimited training and support. Again, you get however many users you have, those people will be trained and walk through the process, and you get that for the duration of the time that you're with us. Kind of a quick, super fast overview of the system. I'm open to field any questions if you have them at this point.
Russell, can you show them how, with the map, how you can segregate out certain areas?
Yeah, certainly. Let me get to that screen here. This is are you guys able to see my screen at this point?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the back end. So this is how a user on your side of the township would be utilizing this.
No, wait, we're not seeing.
Wait.
We're not seeing the map.
Okay, let me get to that. You see the screen with it says existing groups in the middle?
Yep.
Okay, I'll get to the map just to explain the way that our system works is that not only can you send alerts out, let's say to a city alert, which would go to all of the township, you're able to differentiate that into different groups as well. So if you have certain residents who are interested in just receiving updates about the newsletter or your meeting minutes, you can get those sent out that way. But you're also able to utilize our map tool here. So obviously this is a demonstration site, so I'm only showing a few red dots, which signifies households within the township. Yours would have thousands more. So you can pick this out, and let's say there's a road closure coming up right here and you only wanted to notify these residents. Let me go back out a bit, you can pull this out and put it to, whoop. I don't know what I did there. Let me pull back here. And you can put this to where you want this to be able to do any kind of wonky measurements, because I know sometimes that's needed. And what that does is it creates a specific group that will just be for that location. You can just save that selection and type in the name of the group, and you can send that message out just to those people, so people are not receiving notifications of uncertain. Any other questions on that one, Bob, or do you want me to show you a different way?
Anyone have any questions? Okay. Continue on, whatever.
I think one thing that I think we focused on is the notification side, since I am on the back side of this showing you how it works from this end. Let me pull into just sending alert, just to kind of show you how simple and easy it is. And this is obviously a demonstration site, so it's going to say city, yours would be specific to yours. Let's say you have a change. I noticed garbage came up here. That seems to be one that happens quite often. You want to notify all your residents that something's happening. You would just go to the alerts here, type in the message, whatever that would be. You're allowed to have 1,000 characters. So then you can put in links as well, and in here to be able to show and direct them to different pages as you need them. And you press send, and that's going to go out to every single person in the group. Literally takes just a matter of seconds to be able to send a message out, get the information really quickly to your residents. You can also schedule alerts. So if you have these meetings every, I think it was every first and second or third Monday of the month, you can actually create a scheduled notification for people that, let's say they wanted to just get that alert. You can send it directly to like city council. This is obviously different for you. You do your date when those meetings are going to be, and you put a time in, and then it's just going to send it out to them. So for the alert side of things, this is made to be simple and easy. And one thing, any questions on the alerts? Because I think, Bob, you mentioned the surveys, and I can show that as well.
Yeah, if you would like to.
Okay. Really quick then, the surveys, the reason why this is important is because you have the great engagement we're able to get right off the bat. Typically, people run into issues getting people to complete surveys or open emails that send out with a survey link. This just goes out and then directly to your residents through a text message. There's a citizen satisfaction survey that you're seeing here. You're allowed to do as many questions as you want here. Obviously, we want to keep that within a certain number just to get the responses. From there, you can get some good data that you're able to utilize for different things, from just for the township's information, but you're also utilize this for graphs. You can put that into a PDF format and get to send you things like that. I think that was the majority of what we had talked about and covered. Again, this isn't just for one department. What we're looking at is that from the clerk to the road department, all departments are able to be able to utilize it, and you can get those notifications out, do surveys, they're able to handle it individually. Any other questions?
Can you explain to them a little bit how you start off with a database?
Yeah, let me, with the database, the way that it works is that we are able to procure through a few different means. One of the things that we do is we utilize the U.S. Postal Service. That way we're able to get households. We tie those in with an address as well as a cell phone number. So each one of your households that we're able to pull in, usually it's about 40 to 60%. Obviously, I looked at yours, and there's a few different zip codes that are outliers, so I couldn't pull really good numbers for them, but I can get those for you as well. From there, you would send out a welcome message, and of your database, that welcome message would read something similar to, we're going to be utilizing TextMyGov as a notification tool, And if you would like to opt out, you're able to do that by pressing stop. We're finding over 95% of people are not pressing stop, so you're able to get that engagement right from the beginning. And then you would add to it through some, I'll kind of show you. Are you able to see the screen here for St. Joseph's Charter?
No.
No, let me share that with you, because this is kind of how they're utilizing it as well. You're able to get some additional engagement with our widget down here. So if somebody were to go onto your website, this widget would be there. They can opt in. They just put their phone number in here and opt in. So outside of the database, you can pull people in that way. If you have any additional database numbers, we would scrub those and get those in for cell phones so they can be added as well. And then you have a few other ways of doing it, like in your town halls and things like that, where you can put a QR code to be able to pull in some additional organically.
Any questions?
All right.
I have one. 50,000
Yeah,
text
go ahead.
messages. 50,000 text messages a year. That's say we get 5,000 people signed up. We can get that done in 10 text messages to everybody.
Yeah, that would be 10 minutes. If you're getting 5,000 people right off the bat and you are sending text to every single person, then what we'd want to do is make an adjustment on that. You can, if you have the proposal there, you can see there's additional text that you're able to purchase. I think it's 25,000 for $300. But if this is one thing that we want to make sure is that you're utilizing it, and if you feel like that you're going to be sending out multiple mass text in the entire alert, then we can make some adjustments in the proposal to be able to fit what you're looking at there. The last thing we want is for you to feel like you're worried about the text messages. We want you to utilize the system so we can look at that if that's something that would be an issue. Typically what we see though is within a township like this, especially in the beginning, that's going to be a sufficient amount for starting.
All right, I guess we're all set at this side, Russell.
All right, hey, I thank you guys all for your time and hope the rest of the meeting goes well.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye.
Board, what do you think?
I like that.
I think it's a good idea. I agree with it. I think it gives us a way to tell people everything. Not only that, but even the questions like these people have about the cans, if you can send it to everybody. Right.
Would be great.
So Bob, is this like AI where if someone texts a question, it'll, like chat GPT?
It's not meant for someone to text a question back. It's meant to send information out.
Because he was saying if they had questions.
Yeah.
When they were beginning, if people had questions, they could just
Yeah.
write the question, text it in.
We'd have set up answers.
Yeah.
You'd have to pre-set up some answers for some general questions,
Right.
and then any really super specific, they would have to call the office.
Or email.
So no one's monitoring. Just
You know, when you can't
When you
do
do
a
a
survey, well, you can't expect somebody to be there 24 hours a day, technically.
When you do a survey, like, what you're gonna want them to do is try to have yes or no answers. So that they can
emergency systems.
compile that.
Text messages.
Says if you had answers where someone put an answer in for every question, then you gotta go through every one of those individually.
So it's not like, I guess it's chat GPT, you can just type a question in, and the AI comes back with the answers, and that's what I asked, it sounded like AI, just to type in the, and that's, a lot of people do that now, a lot of countries do that now, so.
Sure, there's a learning curve here, but I think it'll be beneficial.
I think it's worth trying.
I think that was more on the survey side.
Right. Right.
So what kind of surveys would you do?
We're not saying that we would or we wouldn't.
Okay.
if we choose to, we could. So does anybody want to make a motion to proceed with the setup? Motion by Hugash. Support by Ellsworth. Shaka. Is there any further questions?
Is the motion just for the annual 3-year proposal here, the text?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Posted here. For first year, saying that, $6,700, recurring 4,500,
Yeah, the 67 includes the setup.
set up 2,000.
Yeah, reoccurring.
I just asked that question, but did we look at anybody else's system or is this the one that
They approached us. And that's
they approached us?
Are there any other systems out there that can handle something like this?
I'm sure there probably is. We and reached out to the users of this all probably pretty well.
I'm not sure if we should go. I really don't like an AI answering.
Questions for you?
Yeah. They want to know a question, ask it right correct, and we'll tell them right correct. We don't want a computer answering our questions.
Yeah, let's take baby steps.
Yeah.
Get this going. Any other questions, concerns?
Do we want to get another bid from another company? Or see what else is available, or?
Probably could if we wanted to. I don't know that it falls within that $5,000 range. You don't necessarily have to, so it's up to you. All I know is I don't have time to do it right now myself.
Do you think guys think we should get another bid, just to see what they offer?
I'll just say that I was just at a conference and only there was one gal there that presented something similar, but it was also tied to them developing a website. So it was a website and then this was a branch off of something else they would do. So that's the only one I've seen. I'm not saying there's not others out there, but
And was it the same company or is it a different company?
no, it was a different company.
Our website could use a little brushing up, it's kind of,
We talked about that too.
yeah.
I would rather have two different. You got your website and then you have this. But whatever, we got a motion on the floor and a support. We'll look at the discussion, what do you want to do? If there's no discussion, call roll call vote.
I've just never, heard about companies like this until we received our agenda packet this Friday, so that's why I'm asking. I just never heard of this. I mean, it sounds good, but it's the only company that we've got a bid on too. And normally, don't we get a couple, 2 or 3 bids? before we
Depending
decide?
on how much it costs. Something costs. Or it's, like we're gonna approve a pump repair here and there's only one quote to fix it. It's a lot more than this.
think you've got some local referrals, right, Bob?
Mhm.
Some other townships that are using it.
Townships and cities and state.
There's just kind of in there.
Roll call, please.
Lucas,
Yes.
Shaka,
Yes.
Pringle,
Yes.
Reno,
Yes.
Falk,
No.
Davis, yes.
Yes. Next is EDA update from Dan Casey.
Thank you, Mr. Lewandowski. Good evening to the members of the board, to the residents here tonight. I just asked Mr. Lewandowski if I could come in and give you a quick update just on some of the activities that we're involved with that are happening currently. We're about 3/4 of the way through the year, so keep that in mind as you're reviewing the report. I wanted to start by just kind of putting a bow on the very first item that I have on this report, which is a project that I told you about the last time I was here. This is a project that involved the current Lowe's facility and the land that's behind it. There was a Canadian company that we've been working with for a while that was interested in buying that building and made an offer to purchase the building. Unfortunately, the owners of the building turned down their offer. So that project currently is dead. I did talk to the company president afterwards. He didn't give me a reason why the offer was turned down. He may not know. And I asked him, well, what's next? What are you going to do, next going forward? Because he was also looking out of state. This is a Canadian company that's pretty close to the border. They're within 20 minutes of the border. So we see this a lot with a Canadian company that for whatever reason wants to be on the US side, and they can manage the facility with their Canadian management. They can do their HR from there, so they don't have to duplicate staff on the US side. So we see that pretty. Anyway, he said they're currently looking at the tariffs and assessing what they're going to do next. They haven't made a decision yet, so it's not completely out of the question that they could come back and look at something else in the county, or even, maybe make a new offer on the same property. Maybe the owner will accept more money, I don't know. So I just wanted to give you that kind of update on that project so you know where it stands. It's pretty much dead at the moment. Moving on, one of the big projects we've been working on this year is a site readiness grant program. We received about $350,000 from the Michigan Economic Development Corporation to invest that money in land primarily to get it more development ready, and then to market that on the state's real estate database, which is called Zoom Prospector. So we've been investing that money in about 6 different properties in the county, mainly generally in this area. One of the properties that we invested money in is the 225 acre, the Acquaveti property, we call it sometimes, which is, so it's between Michigan and 32nd and between Dove Street and Pettit. And there's a lot of wetlands on the property, so it says it's 225 acres, but really it's, from a development standpoint, it's probably more like 60 acres, where you could work around the wetlands and get a permit from. So there's a developer that optioned the property and approached us with spending some of our site readiness money on that property. So we have, to date, it's $14,400 that I just approved for a full wetland delineation and an update on a phase 1 environmental study. And previously we had invested $10,400 toward the end of last year for a preliminary wetland study to kind of get a handle on what kind of wetlands were at the property, but it wasn't a full wetland study. So now we're proposing to do a full study. The developer, I'm going to talk about another property, is to develop a small industrial park that would have a handful of buildings. This developer builds larger buildings between 200,000 square feet and 500,000 square feet, usually on a speculative basis, meaning they'll put up the walls of the building, the roof, but they don't finish the inside and they don't usually pour the concrete floors until they know who the tenant is. And then they'll, based on what the tenant tells them, they'll finish the building. So that's how this developer operates, and they've been doing projects in Portage, Battle Creek, and a few other places in Michigan. So they've got an option on the property. They are proposing to submit a site plan for a building for this property, so timing wise, it's moving at a bigger pace now. Lastly, the property is currently zoned heavy industrial. It's got a lot of encumbrances there. In addition to the wetlands, there are also some areas where there's things were dumped, tires were dumped, concrete was dumped, other things were dumped. So it's gonna be very expensive to clean all that up, so instead they're gonna try to work around it rather than clean up all these things that over the years have accumulated on the property. So that's the site readiness grant program. The next project is somewhat related, and it's called Project Atlas. This is a company that's local, not in Huron Township, but they're in the area, that is looking to do two projects, one of which is an expansion for their current operations, and the second one is a new building for a new contract that they've received from one of the OEMs. So it's an automotive supplier. They're proposing to build upwards of a 250,000 square foot building. They hired 2 consultants to assist with finding sites. Those consultants contacted us a few months ago. We've been working ever since on 3 different properties. By the way, this project's also competitive. They're looking at other states, but they kind of drilled down on these 3 sites that are in our area. 2 are in Port Huron and 1 is in Port Huron Township. It happens to be this property I just talked about. And so they're getting close to making a final decision on which of those 3 sites they're going to select to do the project in. Each of the 3 sites have their advantages, so I don't know what direction they're going to go. They're looking at this as campus development, potentially more than 1 building in the future. And beyond that, I can't divulge who the company is because they forced me to sign a confidentiality agreement right at the very start before we even knew what the project was. So since then, I can tell you a lot about it. So once it gets to the public arena, it will not be confidential anymore. But until they make a site decision, that's the way they've asked us to keep it. But it's a very good project, very solid project. It will be a light industrial use, will not generate much noise, won't have any kind of contaminants, air quality issues, anything like that. And again, this is a company that's local that everybody knows. They're proposing to create 100 jobs with this initial project, and it's around a $30 million investment. We've had some discussions locally with the township about the project and also with the developer, and it looks like they're going to be submitting the site plan pretty soon. By the way, you can interject any questions you might have at any point as I proceed. Moving on, one of the things that EDA does every year is we have a business retention program. We have a goal of meeting with 120 companies. Typically, they're manufacturers or they're large employers. So it could be someone like a Michigan Mutual, for example. But basically, we have 120 that we try to do every year. Of those 120, we have key target companies that we meet with every year. And then we have some, because we have over 300 manufacturers, there's some that we'll meet with like every other year, some of the smaller manufacturers. But basically, our goal is to meet with 120 per year. Like I said, we're 3/4 of the way through the year, and there's 9 companies we've met with so far this year that are located in Huron Township. I'm not going to go through all the specifics on our retention visit, but basically, companies give us an update on where they're at. Mr. Pringle's been on the other end of them many times, so he can probably address it. But anyway, we'll get an update on where the company is at that particular time and place. If they have any particular needs that we can assist with, then we'll go back to the office and we'll begin that process, whatever it is. It can be a lot of things. And one thing in our retention program is that any company in the county can call us if they have a need or email us at any time, and we'll assist them. So the retention visit is not the only touch point that we have with the companies. Right? That's just a very intentional one that we have every year. But we get calls all the time or emails from them requesting everything from, hey, I need a company that can move equipment. Do you have any recommendations? And so we'll give them what we have in that regard. Other times it's another thing I'll be talking about, foreign trade zones in a minute. So it could be all kinds of things. Moving on, I mentioned the foreign trade zone. So we are the grantee for foreign trade zone number 210. Initially, many years ago when it was first established at the US level, it included the entire Port Huron Industrial Park and some specific properties in Marysville. It also included Desmond Landing, which is Deepwater Port. However, we can create subzones out to a 60-mile radius, except in Canada. So 60-mile radius within the US, we can do a subzone in any of those locations. The foreign trade zone has largely been inactive for the last 15 years, partly because a lot of our companies that we have in this area service the domestic market, not necessarily the end. There's some exceptions, but generally speaking, they're servicing the domestic market, so they don't really have a need for the benefits of the foreign trade zone. However, under the current administration, we're seeing a lot of new tariffs being put in place, which are costing companies a lot of money. And so for the last 2 months, I probably fielded 8 to 10 company inquiries about our foreign trade zone, which in the past I would be lucky to get 1 or 2 a year. So we've had 8 to 10 in just the last 2 months. We have 1 active project happening with 1 manufacturer, and we have some others. We just signed an agreement with a consultant who we've used for many years, but we didn't have an agreement with them, so now we do. And one of the services that they're providing to companies for free is they'll do an assessment at the company's request to determine if there would be benefit for the company if they activated the foreign trade zone at their facility. I don't want to bore you with all the details of what a foreign trade zone is. So I'll basically say, think of it as a way to defer duties on raw materials or products that are coming into the United States. When they sit in a designated activated foreign trade zone area, those duties are deferred. In other words, they don't have to pay taxes until that product leaves. Once it leaves, then the duties have to be paid. But a lot of times these companies pass that cost on to their customers. So a real easy way to think about it is a company that makes large machinery in Germany for the automotive industry. They will make those machines, they'll ship them into a foreign trade zone in the US. They will sit there until a customer buys them, and then the customer pays the duties when the machines are moved out of the zone. That's a real simple way to think about it. There's a lot of different benefits, but right now, because of tariffs, companies are really looking at this. Canadian companies have been contacting us, and they're looking at this too, because they're having to pay all these duties when they ship their products into the United States. So they're looking to set up operations here or somewhere in the US and in a foreign trade zone, so those duties can be deferred or eliminated. So a lot of work happening there. We do have 1 Port Huron Township manufacturer that did reach out to us, and we organized a meeting with a consultant. They did that assessment. I talked about it afterwards. They decided that there wasn't enough value to make it worthwhile, so we did not proceed. Technology assessments. So basically, there's a lot happening with automation, and the state of Michigan has had some grant programs for about the last 3 years related to assisting companies of all kinds with implementing more automation in their facilities. This is everything from manufacturers to restaurants. So the states had these grant programs. We had some of our own grants through the MEDC in the past. Currently, we don't, but we work with the Michigan Manufacturing Technology Center, which is one of our partners. They do currently have a grant through the state of Michigan, and they've been meeting with companies. If they approve their applications, they'll provide funding to assist them with buying whatever that is, whether it's automation or back room or for the manufacturing floor. So we do have one company that went through that process recently with MMTC. Commercial development. I admit I don't know a lot about this project, so I might ask Mr. Lewandowski to help fill in some blanks. But one of the members of my team recently had a meeting with a company, a developer that's looking to do a project in the community. It's a restaurant / pub project. I know the individual, the developer, I know his name, but I don't know the location. Bob, I don't know if you, were you in that meeting?
That was for Park One, right across from the campground.
Okay. Yeah, I realized when I was going through my notes tonight that I forgot to ask the person on my team the locations. My bad. But anyway, so we just started that project and we'll carry it forward to see where it goes. There was another company in the community that contacted us. I mentioned that we get all kinds of calls. So this is a good example. I've had 3 or 4 of these this year with a company that's interested in selling. Usually what's happening is the owners don't have children in the family that are interested in taking over a business. And when they get to the point where they want to retire, they have to, they look for someone to buy the business. And so we've been fielding some requests from some of the businesses in the county, including one that's in your community that wants to sell. They want to sell a building, they want to sell a business to someone else. So we provide assistance to them in that effort. One thing that we do is we have ongoing programs for companies. It could be all kinds of things, everything from retailers to manufacturers again. So we've had 3 programs in particular this year that I was going to mention. The Earned Sick Time Act, which was a big change this year. We had 200 people there in that particular meeting. Another one on support and grant programs for businesses, and then a third one for how to use artificial intelligence. We actually just did this program. It was very popular, so we're going to do it again. So these are workshops that we have periodically throughout the year. These are the ones that we've done so far this year. There is one company in the community, I can't mention the name at their request, but they are conducting layoffs, and so they're looking for some assistance from EDA and Michigan Works with that process to assist the displaced workers. We have a whole program that we've developed with Michigan Works. So if a company's in this situation and they're going to lay off people, they have to file a warn notice if they have 50 or more employees. If they have less than that, they don't have to file anything. We offer to assist their employees to connect with other companies that may be looking for people. And so we do what we call reverse job fairs in their facility, where we'll invite other companies who have a need for employees to come into that facility, usually at the same time. And everybody goes through some basic training programs on how to update the resumes, how to interview, stuff like that, and then they'll go around and meet these companies. We've done this very successfully for several projects recently, including Dunn Paper when they announced their closure in Port Huron, Dana Corporation earlier this year closed their St. Clair plant. We had about 7 or 8 other manufacturers who went into the plant, met all their employees, and those that wanted jobs got them. So that's just one of the services that we provide, and we do it in partnership with Michigan Works. Okay, almost done. Lastly, I think I mentioned the last time I was here that we received a $2.5 million grant to implement some small business programs. It's called the HUB program by the state, and it covers 6 counties in our region. So we're managing this program, and it's very in detail, a lot of different aspects to it. I'm not going to bore you with all the details. But basically, if you're someone who wants to start a business, you don't know how to get started, you get into this program by going to a website, filling out an intake form, and then the program launches. And we've had over 850 companies across the 6 counties, and about 40% of them are St. Clair County-based companies. So we've had 25 companies from Port Huron Township, 25 entrepreneurs from Port Huron Township who have become engaged, we call it, with this program. Some of them have been in a designated cohort where they're going through a fast track program. And others have received about $17,500 in small business grants through the program. We're going to be doing a second round of small business grants at the beginning of the year. So there'll be another opportunity for companies in the township to apply for grants to help them with their businesses. So without getting into all the details about how it works, I just want to give you kind of a high level overview of that program. The program's going to exist until the end of 2026, and then our grant expires at that time, and we're waiting to see if more money has been budgeted at the state level to continue with these hubs across. There's about 38 of these hubs across the state, and we're hoping that we'll be able to get more funding to continue it beyond 2026. However, one thing we've looked at is a sustainability model. So how can we continue to go forward even if we don't have grant funds? And there is a way to do that with certain aspects of the program. So we're going to continue, most likely continue to implement this in the future. So with that, I'll see if anybody has any questions.
Any questions? Don?
Yeah, the foreign trade zones, I've always been interested in that, thinking that we're so close to the border. And while we don't have a deep water port here, Canada does, and they're bringing a lot of stuff in to the metro area. And I know at SIMCOG, they've talked about their free trade zones and expanding upon them. Is there places, because we got railroad in this, and we got the expressways in here going into Canada. The railroads are here going into Canada. We surely have a place where they can do a spur off of it, do some free trade zone. You don't have to be way out to Canada or KPAC to their spur routes that are available out there, which you know, we got them here in Port Huron. And the township, I think, has 2 or 3 spurs available. Anyway, getting trade zone area more here.
Yes, so I think I mentioned that our foreign trade zone has largely been inactive for at least the last 15 years. And so that's a problem because I field inquiries from companies, traders, whoever, from all over the world, a few times a year, looking for a place in our foreign trade zone where they can warehouse their products and take advantage of the duty-free status while it's in the foreign trade zone. We do not have any place that's activated currently where they can do that. And so what happens is I end up referring them to the port in Detroit or Pontiac, or there's one in Flint that's also inactive. But I end up referring them to a different foreign trade zone because we don't have any warehouse space that's been activated. But I think that this renewed interest in foreign trade zones has sort of gotten the attention of some people. So Interstate Capital is the developer that has that 225 acres. And they have some other sites in the county that they've also got under contract. And that's one of their thoughts is if they build a warehouse or distribution center, they might take part of it and turn that into an activated foreign trade zone so that in the future we could direct these companies to their space.
What's the zoning necessary for something like that? Like 32nd Street?
Light industrial.
Light industrial.
Yep. Because it has a spur on it too. It's not been used. If I remember right.
Right.
I think that's one of their interests with that site is that possibility of railroads.
Yeah.
Needed.
You know, that's- and going back to SIMCOG, well, we kind of, us and Monroe kind of sit on the outside of those 7 counties. We don't get a lot of opportunities. They're pushing for more bigger trade zones down there where they can do that. And our tunnel was improved. We put the double deckers through it. And they think Detroit is where that should be. And you need to push that a little bit harder for St. Clair County.
they always think everything should be in Detroit. Yeah, so we have a double stacked rail tunnel here, but they do not in Detroit. And so that's been one of their goals is to try to find the funding to build one, but that's extremely expensive.
Their things is running through here all the way to Detroit and down on 96. We already have a good terminal.
You all have undoubtedly noticed the truck traffic trying to cross the Blue Water Bridge and how bad it's been this year. There have been a couple of reasons for that. But one thing I learned a few months ago from MDOT is that the Blue Water Bridge at the present time is the #1 truck crossing in the United States based on volume and value of goods. We went from #5 to #1 in a matter of months. I really don't know why, but that's one of the reasons why you see so much backup. There's other reasons, but that's one of the reasons.
This is all the industrial left there, 10, 15 years ago, Westinghouse and all those guys.
Yeah, and another, just
Very huge million square foot plants.
right. Another reason is that we're closer to Toronto than Detroit is. A lot of people don't realize that. But truckers prefer to go through our border crossing because it's lower cost than Detroit. Currently, I don't know about when the Gordie Howe Bridge opens, but currently with the Ambassador Bridge, it's lower cost to cross here and it's closer to Toronto and Mississauga than Detroit is by like 30 miles. So that saves a lot of drivers time and time on the road and all those things. So we've got some advantages to do this kind of work here. I've been frustrated because I've been with EDA for 15 years and we have not been able to generate any interest from developers who build large warehouse and distribution centers. The ones like Ashley Capital that are out there, they won't even come here, they won't look. Everything they build is in the same areas that they know really well and they stay in those areas. So I'm excited about Interstate Capital coming here because that's what they want to build. They see an opportunity in our market that some of the other big players don't see. And so if they build a couple of these larger distribution centers here, we'll see how the leasing goes. And if it goes well, then you'll probably see some more of those buildings built.
Great. Anyone else? Thanks, Dan.
Well,
Item C, approve assessment or agreement for assessing services with St. Clair County. We currently use the county for our assessing services. One, it's cheaper than if we hired someone ourselves. And these people also do work at the county. This new scope of the agreement would extend the amount of time that someone from the assessing will be in the office. Instead of 2 days a week, it's going to be bumped up to 4. You can see the cost. And it also includes, they have their people that go out and do measurements and stuff like that. And they've been doing a great job for us ever since we went with them. So we look for a motion to approve the agreement between the county and Huron Township for assessing services. Motion by Dudash, is there? Pardon me?
Based on
Yeah. Support? Support by Paul. Is there any discussion?
So you said, when I talked to you today, that it's quite a savings to our township to have this group here, or these 2 ladies here.
Yeah, and one lady's gonna be retiring, I think, in a year and a half. So she'll be also teaching the lady that's with her what goes on here. So, and believe me, assessors are hard to find. Nobody wants to do assessing. Any other discussion? Roll call, Madam Clerk, please.
Dudash,
yes.
Faust,
Yes.
Reno,
Yes.
Pringle,
Yes.
Shaka,
Yes.
Davis, yes, Mayor.
Yes. Item D, approve 2025 request for county parks millage distribution. This would be the money that, our share that we get out of the county parks millage.
I'll make the motion that we approve the Parks and Recreation Commission. Distribution.
Motion by Shaka, is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Reno, is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item E, approve repair for Water Street Lift Station pump repair. You want to say anything, Dan, or?
I just know that if we had to replace that same pump, it would be almost 3 times the amount that you're looking at. That pump was originally installed in 2007, and it lasted us quite a few years before we had to actually have it repaired, so really a good idea.
We just did one not too long ago.
Yeah, and that was also an original pump.
Right. We have 3 of these in stock, 2 in the station, 1 is a spare outside the station. I would say they're our most expensive ones, right?
It is the most expensive one we have, and it takes the most flow as well.
Would someone like to make a motion to approve the rebuild of the Water Street sewer station pump?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Randall, is there support? Support by Dudash. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item F, approve replacement of BFD at Water Street Lift Station.
So the VFD drive is actually what makes the pump work at a more efficient rate, because it will slow down the pump or speed it up as it needs to be able to get the water flow when it comes in. If you get a lot heavier flow, the VFD will speed it up or slow it down, for lighter flows. That is also an original item that's at the station. Pump number 1, the VFD already went last year or the year before. And now pump 2, we had a scare a few weeks ago where we thought we were gonna have to just do it automatically. Well, we were able to get it repaired enough to where it's working, but it's recommended to get it replaced.
So we would like to recommend using Blue Water Electrical Services. He's also our electrical inspector to do the work of changing it over. And we would be we would be buying it from Marshall Campbell, Square D. The thing about that is we got the technical assistance right here in town, so.
Yes, local support.
Yep.
And we did get multiple quotes on that as well.
Got a quote from Kennedy, a quote from
So Marshall Campbell was the 11,008.
Yeah.
He sent me that.
Yep.
Plus 600.
Yep.
Okay.
Where the other one is 11,011 for the parts and 3,000.
Electrician.
Yes.
Oh.
That's, so
But
it's,
you're out of like water filling areas.
Yeah, yeah. This is okay. I'll make that motion.
oh, okay, motion by Dudash to go with the BFD from Marshall Campbell and the installation by Blue Water Electrical Services. Is there support?
All support.
Support by Falk. Is there any discussion?
I like that it's local.
Try to do that whenever possible.
Yeah, they're very nice company, and they helped us out with the museum by donating a wonderful, beautiful flagpole to us, so. Local business.
All right. favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Item G, approve appointment of Chantel Warner to the Township Recreation Board.
Make the motion to approve the appointment of Chantel Warren to the Township Recreation. I'll support.
Motion by Shaka, support by Reno.
Well, just thanks for the opportunity to let me serve on the board, and I look forward to enhancing and uniting our community through the development of our recreation program. Thank you.
She volunteered at the Fall Fest.
Oh, yeah.
And, to try to get a little test drive.
Worked out well.
She's still here. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Approval of bills.
The motion we approve the prepaid bills in the amount of $560,513.75.
Motion by Shaka, is there support?
Support.
Support by Dugash. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call by the clerk.
Shonda,
Yes.
Dudash,
Yes.
Pringle,
Yes.
Reno,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Davis, yes, Lewandowski.
Yes.
Make the motion we approve the current bills in the amount of $6,202,166.89.
Motion by Shaka, is there support? I'll support. Support by Reno. Is there any discussion?
Pete, since this is so much more than our normal current bills, could you explain why?
It's taxes.
Yeah, but for them, I know what it is.
Yeah, it's taxes, it's everything that we've accumulated after the 15th.
The tax, since this is the
Property tax.
property tax collection spot, and then we have to take, which most of it is ours, and distribute it to.
Goes to the school, yeah, it goes to school and county operating, or not. Yes, goes to schools and county operating.
All right. Roll call, please.
Shonda,
Yes.
Reno,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Pringle,
Yes.
Dudash,
Yes.
Davis, yes, Lewandowski.
Yes. Board correspondence. They kind of stole the big one. We got some development going on the south end, properly zoned property. And another one is luxury bathroom modelers that was on Water Street, moved in across the street here. So they're out here now. Bakersfield pathway, like I said before, is getting used tremendously, so that's a good thing. Every time I'm down there, there's people using the pathway.
Yeah.
And the bit wall.
Yeah.
And-
And the books, and
Right, so,
I was down there today.
yeah, it's just good to see people using it. Like I said, next year, I wanna try to maybe work with the rec board. Maybe get a couple, 2 or 3 concerts on a Tuesday night or something. I think that would be kind of cool. And then if it works out good, for our anniversary the following year, maybe we spread it out for some more. But anyways, you got the note here from the Township Little League. They're asking for some assistance. You got a wish list there. What I'm thinking, I don't know what you think. I haven't talked to anybody about it, this is where it starts. 300 feet of 4-inch drain pipe with 3 cleanouts. Do you have an idea, Dan, roughly how much that would maybe cost?
Yeah, a few $1,000.
Okay,
I want to say about 28, maybe $28 a foot or $14 a foot. Somewhere.
I was just wondering if that's something that maybe we could help them out with, and then maybe if the DPW guys would, I was thinking maybe we could ask them. I would help if we wanted to work on it on weekends,
I'll be like volunteer days.
volunteer our time and put that in, what do you think?
They probably knock out in a day.
Right? Just a thought,
I can talk to them.
so,
You're trying to rebuild restrooms completely? Is that
they don't
what-
have
We don't
restrooms.
have restrooms, right?
They don't have restrooms, so they're trying to build it.
They want to actually have a facility for kids besides the outhouses.
Gotcha.
So,
How
One
many kids play hockey?
maybe, maybe Dan and I got a price on the stuff and got a feel if the guys would help out for a day or something, put it in, we could come back to the next meeting. Let you know, maybe see if we could. All of it.
For the whole list?
No,
Oh, okay.
First one there.
the first one, the first two.
First two.
So we'll do that and go from there. That's all I've got. Anybody else?
And I got an update on some kind of going on. If you want it. I gave you the grant list that were available as usual, so you can distribute them to the people. Did talk to Randy on a couple of them. He seemed very hot on getting some of those grants. Just to let you know, there was a survey done on natural gas, what's costing. A new home uses 6% of the budget for natural gas. The base is 10%, with older homes using 19% of their wages to pay for natural gas this year. Bike deaths are a problem this year. They only account for 1.5% of all the accidents, but they account for 25% of the motor vehicle deaths. So bike deaths do pay off, widening roads, put a bike lane on, do work out. The new map system for local communities that will tell where your residencies are, how far they are from grocery stores, walking to a mall or a park, how far bikes have to go within 15 minutes or how far a car has to go within. That's should be completely updated in the next month or two. Macomb County is using up a lot of action for low flood zone areas. That's what we need to look at. And they're saying if we get a question that pops up at us on Facebook, ask the township to answer us back, that we should have somebody reviewing that, so that question gets answered real quickly, or else it turns into a back question. You understand what I'm saying? Because we haven't seen it, or heard from it, took care of it, well, they're not paying attention to us. Happens quite a bit. On the ADA, MDOT seems to be worried about coloring of their charts, because you gotta make their charts available to colorblind people. They're having quite a problem on charts, they gotta get it all designed, when they design it. The people have to design it. People that see it, if you've ever done colorblind, sometimes numbers just blend right in. Even though you have one color, it just blends the numbers or the lettering or whatever. So that's a problem. Electric bikes are considered motor vehicles and are not allowed on paths or sidewalks. They can be ticketed to be on paths and sidewalks. So signage should reflect that. And you should ask the local police enforcement, get them off, because they're moving it over 35 miles an hour at the rate. And there's no way to hop out of the way. They're coming at you, they just scream at you, get the heck out of my way. Talked to Pete about this. Macomb County did a big rig event. That was where, like we had, just had a kid fair. Kids like to be around big rigs. They like to see them, they like to look at them and touch them. And they did a big rig day where they asked some of the community people like Steve Hyde or Cody or semi drivers to park the rigs and let kids walk around them and look at them and possibly sit up in them. Because they really gave a kick out of sitting in the fire truck. And they had the fire trucks there too. Something we can look at in the future at one of our parks. Where we have places for big rigs.
You want to just park that old one over at the park, just leave it there?
Probably not.
Nobody else wants it.
Use it for.
Well, we told Roger we could probably convert it to a water truck for the dust on that.
Okay, continue on.
And I know how you feel about rumble strips, but there's mumble strips out there. Less noise. But they, they're doing them at bad intersections, coming up to roundabouts and getting them, where they're going down the white lines, where they have rumbles now. So they're coming to reduce the noise, but yet the vibrations in the car steering wheel. They're looking at, they're called mumble strips instead of rumble strips. And I wrote down the color.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else?
I don't know, I got a question on the sidewalks. Down in Florida, we're allowed to drive golf carts on the sidewalks down there. Is it against the law?
Yep.
It is? Oh,
Anything that's motorized.
That's here in Michigan?
it's not licensed
St. Clair
though.
County.
Yeah, it's not licensed. I just wondered about that.
And, they're gonna come out with a, hopefully, they did them, that 1 minute TV spot. They're gonna do one for roundabouts and trying to put one together about proper usage of bikes. Get bikes on the right side of the road and the wrong side. Pedestrians walking on the right side of the road and the wrong side. So they're working on a couple different commercials.
Yes, we had Fall Fest on the 20th. Went very well. We had 103 people that took a ticket from us. We had more people there than that, but it went very well, we think. We had popcorn and they had drinks. Texas Roadhouse was there and we giving out passes or something. I'm not sure what it was, but peanuts and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Lions Club was there doing
Yeah.
high checks.
Lions Club was doing the high checks with kids.
They found 8 kids.
Did you?
Mhm. 2 of them had deformed irises. So it's well worth it. We'll definitely be back next year.
Yeah, I just want to address what Carol, she mentioned that I was against the transparency, which I was not. The reason I voted no was because Mr. Mortimer back there pointed out some facts that we already have a camera system that we could use. And I voted no because of money that was out there for the system that was proposed. And you're labeling me as that I don't, I'm against transparency, and that's not fair.
Well, I apologize, but this is why I asked for correspondence, so you could explain, because the way it was, it gave the provision that you were just solely against doing it. So I appreciate you giving the correspondence, thank you.
I was for the same reason, we're already putting all that money in cameras and a big computer system for it. Why buy a system that can handle that history?
Could we bring it back to the table then?
There was a reason for that though.
Okay?
I'm just saying that when the guy explained it, he highly recommended against it. Go ahead.
Yeah, but
No, explain.
my feeling was he was recommending against it because he wanted to sell two systems. He didn't want to incorporate another system into it. But we weren't into that discussion, we were just into yes or no. And my feeling was a no at that point.
You can buy cheaper systems. There's a lot of cheaper camera systems out there. But we're a government agency and we gotta have NDAA compliant cameras. They are more expensive than the other ones that you see out there. I mean, you can buy a camera for $100, but you can't use it on our system. It would violate the firewalls and things, having a camera system that is not NDAA compliant. NDAA is National Defense Authorization Act, and there's a certain spec that you have to have for those cameras. And if you put it on our network system that is not NDAA compliant, you're in all sorts of trouble. That's why.
Get the geek squad in here and set her out.
Just seeing how much views we've increased. I appreciate you getting the guy to come in to talk. I appreciate that. And Dawn, I know you were part of that as well. I appreciate that, but even my daughter, she's watching it right now. She can't come. Cheryl's sitting by the door. There's a lot of people out there that cannot come. And you see how many people are engaged at watching these videos already. So I think it would be well worthwhile to looking back into it. You know, the subscriptions have gone doubled what they have in the last couple, 3 weeks? To take and get notifications for live streams and to get the people out there. You're doing this text. I mean, it's a lot of money, but you know, you're engaging people, and this is another way to show transparency. And there's a lot of elderly people that would love to watch. You also have a lot of people that don't live in the township anymore that are still wanting to come back and know what's going on, and they can't.
Or they're in
They
Florida.
can't. They're in Florida. There you go. So I
Lucky
appreciate.
me.
Yeah, but I appreciate looking into it, and if it's something that we can circle back on for the sake of the citizens that can't come, we would appreciate it.
Anyone else?
We had the museum was open yesterday, and there's a couple events coming up. And the first one is going to be November the 8th, it's Coffee with Veterans at the museum. And then on December 13th, well, actually December 6th and 7th, they want to do a Santa activity for the littles, where they would come into the museum and take a picture with Santa, and have a picture to take, a little picture frame, take that home, and you have it all decorated over there real nice. And then, but on December the 13th, it's Reefs Across America that Veronica's been working on. So that's a really worthy cause. I think she said she needed 550 wreaths.
$4,420 is what is needed yet. And I know Gary Fletcher's sending a check in. Hit him up for some money. Dan, we need some money from the EDA. But they need quite a few wreaths. They've had a lot more veterans die, so they've added on like 30 wreaths, I think, just from this last year from just our township.
Yeah.
So
How many weeks do they put out here in Woodland?
They're gonna do 550 this year.
Okay.
So
bringing that up to the Lions Club.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think when I donated last week, they were up to 47% of the goal. So hopefully, you know, it was fun to talk to Veronica last year, because every time I'd see her, I'd ask her how many more reefs they had. And on a daily basis, they were getting more and more people, you know, buy your reefs. So I don't know where she's at number wise now, but it's a beautiful, it's a one, we did it last year, and it was absolutely beautiful. We had the color guard there, and wonderful service, and then we all laid the wreaths on the graves afterwards. It was very moving.
Just a quick question right here.
Are you gonna, those, events that you're talking about for the museum, are you gonna put them in the newsletter that the township puts out? That'd be helpful.
It already went out.
It's already
Oh,
out.
okay.
It's already it's in the process, articles are written.
Oh,
Is it gonna
Because I was
go
gonna say-
before Christmas or
Hmm.
that's it? Maybe we can text it to
There you go.
people.
but that, I'm gonna say on the UP code, is that what I'm saying, the
QR.
funky,
QR code.
thank you, I never can remember it. That you put in the newsletter that people can just take their phone and donate that way through the,
Yeah, that's how I did it.
Yes, there is a QR code.
oh, okay.
That's it, for motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Paul, support by
A second.
Rich, all in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Pardon?
They were doing what?
No, we're just